Welcome back everyone to the Rooks channel. Hope everyone's having an awesome day, whatever day you are watching this. And it's Friday when I recorded this, and we'll publish it. So it's a nice prelude to the weekend. Welcome back to the OTB tournament recaps. This is round number 4, and in this round I'm on 2.5 out of 3. By the way, I'm on 2.5 out of 3, so I expected to play one of the big dogs. And I did. I played a FIDE master called Ronan. He's around 2240, and he got his FIDE master title last year, right? So, um, I was actually expecting this because I was the lowest with 2.5. So what happens in many tournaments is that if you're the lowest with 2.5 and there's an odd number of people, then you actually drop down and play the highest with 2. And this person lost against the first seed of the tournament, right? So I actually predicted I would play him, and we did. And I got black. So in this round, or in this game, all I knew that my opponent played was the Scotch. And lo and behold, I played e4, e5, and he played the Scotch. And there's a lot of different lines here. Bishop c5, queen f6. There's some even d5 lines. But computers have made everything mainstream now. But I played knight f6, the good old version. And all I knew about my opponent was that he's not settling for some boring knight c3. He's gonna play knight c6 and e5, the cutting throat line. And the main move is queen e7 for black, and then after queen e2, black rotates his knight to d5. White plays c4, attacking the knight and trying to get his own pieces to the game. And here, black plays bishop a6. Now, there's two lines here. You can play knight b6. And this Mises variation, I mean, from the database I'm looking at, Kasparov liked a lot. This knight b6 line I wasn't so sure about, but because I haven't looked at it honestly. And the point is to just kind of get an early a5 a4, not letting restricting his, like for example b3, and I play a5 a4, and I just immediately target that pawn. And if you're not careful, white can be worse. But I settled for bishop a6, and before the game, I decided to hit him with a variation that I have never played in my OTB experience, and probably won't repeat. But maybe I will. I don't know. And I've hit him with this move, Queen H4. Now Queen H4 is like the 5th most popular move here. Let me just check. No, it's the 4th. So I played Queen H4, and my plan worked. I think he was just surprised, because he probably saw this move before, but he hadn't revisited the line in a while. This move is just a clear indication that I want a combination of queen d4 and then bishop b4 check, hitting this, threatening this. He cannot play bishop b2 here, just to make sure for you guys, because bishop b4, and if you block with the knight, you are completely, well, you're not lost, but you are like way worse, because after knight c3, I'm actually going to rotate the knight straight to e4, and, white is in real trouble. So I hit him with this move, queen h4. It's a novelty. Well, not a novelty, but, you guys get what I'm saying, right? And it shook him, and he thought for 20 minutes, and of course he played the right move. That's kind of the opposite of classical chess. Like, even if your opponent spends so much time, they are going to find the best move, because they have so much time. And the problem is now I had to come up with a move, and I played knight f4, and we went for this queenless middle game. And what I decided here was that when I'm playing high-rated opponents, they do have some expertise over me. But I can't play the position. I can't tank the position and tank the clock, right? That's not gonna get me anywhere. And that's kind of what happened last tournament. I just didn't manage my clock time well. So what I decided this game was that for the next like 15 moves, at least I'm gonna just play fast. I'm just gonna try to play fast, try to come up with plans, because he's not tanking, but I'm like right here. I'm like 15 minutes up, 20 minutes up. So I definitely felt some kind of edge, and he played knight d2, bishop b2, which is the correct set of moves. I played c5, trying to activate my bishop, rerouting it to b7, hit g2, f3, and I decided to rotate this weird knight all the way to d4. And the problem is, white should not take this, because after takes, you realize that the dark squares are actually very weak. They are very weak for white. And if they play b4 trying to take space, I play a5, and I hit this pawn. Also, taking it is literally like demolishing your house. because I'm just gonna eat this pawn and I get control over the dark squares, right? And even if you play b5, same thing. I play a4 just to make sure you can't play knight b3, and I put my bishop on c5. Good luck, right? So he played king f2 very quickly, and I kind of just missed this move. I didn't expect him to play king f2. I just thought he had to castle, and I realized that he honestly didn't. And he found a very good plan here. Was that after I blitzed out bishop b7, b4, knight e6, and he played bishop c3. And when I kind of saw that he is going for this plan with rook b1, and he's gonna bring this rook to d1, and that's exactly what he did. He brought the rook to d1. That was his point with king f2. Um, and here was my first like real thing. I did think a little bit when I played knight f5, knight d4, but it wasn't like a huge thing because I felt like that was the core plan of the position. But after here, I had no idea what I was doing, and I played rook b8. Just because maybe I'll put pressure on this b4 pawn. If he plays this bishop b4 line, I will have tactics with takes and then taking b4. And if the pawns settle down, I have a easier position to play. And he blitzed out b5. I played rook d8. And the plan here for white is to simply just play the move bishop b4. And this trade is a huge win for white because the light squares in front of, the light squares that black doesn't have are controlled by white, right? And now you can, if white, like, he's not here because you can actually just take it. But if black does get d5, let's just say, I don't know, yeah, what happened in the game? Then white en croissants him, and then after takes, he gets a very quick knight e4. But here's the thing. My opponent here played bishop a5, and I did actually play this d5 line because I had to do something. Right? I can't sit around in my position. Even though the computer wants me to sit around, it's not practical. So he played bishop a5, and in the game, I thought that was a very good move. But here's the thing, I was like, wait, I can just play rook d7. What did he do? And I reached for the d7 rook. And as I was doing it, I took my hand back, and I'm like, oh wait, he has bishop c6. What? What? Like what? He can trap my rook with his bishops and his pawn. One lone pawn, one lone bishop, and I have no squares for my rook. That is insane. I've never seen something like this. So I'm forced to go rook dc8, and now this is. I thought it was definitely gonna get grinded down here because here's the thing. Now white trades and he plays knight e4, and I have no way to successfully guard this pawn. He might rotate to g5 also, and then here he took time when he played bishop a5, bishop b7, and I realized wait, there was something that he didn't like. And then after he played knight e4, I clicked in my brain. I'm like, wait a minute. He gave me knight d4. He gave me knight d4 by playing bishop a5. He let go of this whole diagonal. If I get knight d4, if I get f5 kicking out, if I get bishop f6, my position is liberated. I'm not under so much pressure anymore. And I thought that his best plan was, you know, to wrap around the bishop and reroute his knight to d5. And he played bishop c3. He tried to get rid of my knight. I hit him with f5, knight g3, bishop f6. And what I expected was his move. He played knight e2. And obviously what he wants is that after knight e2, he hits me with Zwischenzug. He doesn't take my knight. He takes my bishop. And just letting you guys know, if you are in a double rook endgame where your pawns are doubled, isolated, you have a backwards pawn, and white has a queenside majority, you are likely not surviving this game, I'm sorry to tell you. So I knew this was terrible. So what did I need? I needed a quick break. I needed something quick. These pawns are brittle. White doesn't guard d5 anymore. d5. The move that I never could have gotten in this game was established, and I felt that I equalized. I equalized from this terrible position. Because honestly, this position is what I thought was terrible because he just trades, and I thought his plan was logical, but he gave up this d4 square, which turned out to be very important. And I hit him with d5, and I think he expected this because he blitzed out, takes, and he played a4. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I know that this is exactly what I wanted from life. But here's the thing. It's still bad for black. I got this whole liberation. My d pawn became a c pawn. It's a passer, but the king on f2 is close. The rook's gonna blockade me. And this pawn could be a liability. If I play g6, the dark squares are weak. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh. So I blitzed out rook c7, rook c1, c3, rook c2, rook c4, king e3. And by the way, right now, the time, like, we both have like 5 minutes, because it's move 40. So we're kind of playing with that sense that there's a 30-minute increment. So here, I actually played rook c4, and I think I offered him a draw because here's what I thought. I thought he had to take, and then this was what he had to go for, and I didn't think I could win this, honestly, just to be honest. Um, and you know, like I was fine with my position. I was gonna play h6, I'm gonna play king h7, and I was okay. Like it's not a winnable position for black. If anyone's pushing, it's white. So I offered him a draw, and then he played king e3, and I was like, I just completely missed king e3. What am I doing? Am I trying to lose this game that I worked so hard for? So I had to go back to c7. I mean, it was a complete like brain malfunction. So I didn't realize how close the king actually was. And f4 doesn't work here because he just slides his king. And this is not the trade of rooks I want. c3 falls, and if I move the rook back, f4 falls. So this is not, it's not what I want. So rook c7, he played king d3, but then I realized he can never win this pawn. For example, you might be wondering when I pitch this, what are you talking about? He can just do this. He can. Because as soon as he moves his rook away from the d file, check. I force his king, I control the c file, he has to move, and I go back. Oh, sorry. I go back. Good luck. Touch my pawn. Yeah, check. Can't go back. Check. Nothing you can do. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, he can't make progress. So he played rook d7, I played king f7. And what I thought was a blunder when he played a5, and he's like, I was like, he squandered his winning chance. Because I play king e7 now, and he can't play rook a6 because I played rook d7 and I go back. Or I played rook c5 and I just pick up these pawns. And then he played rook a6 with 30 seconds left on the clock. Hit the clock, 3 seconds or some, I don't know, some crazy number. Time control. 40 moves. He asked me whether it was 40 moves, and I was like, dude, I don't even know, man. Because it was tense at some point, but I still had that 5-minute advantage, right? And I was very proud with how I budgeted my time this game. So he played rook a6, and I was like, okay, I know my next move is rook d7, so I blitzed out rook d7, and he thought for 3 minutes, and he played king e3. Obviously, now we have the 20-minute increment. So I sit there, and I'm like, okay, he just completely missed this rook b7 idea, so I play rook b7. And I'm like, okay, effectively, I would squander his chances of winning, because if he plays b6, I take it. And I play rook c6. And b6 is hanging. I'm not trying to fight for a draw, but this is what I'm getting, right? This is the rook endgame I'm getting. King f6. Good luck trying to win this. And I cut your king off if I need to. Your king can't come in. So he played a move that I just did not consider. What I thought was the best plan was that somehow, like, getting his king in with a combination of this kind of plan, if he could, like, I had a feeling this might be too dangerous, but maybe rook b6, honestly, and he has to pass a pawn too. But I thought he has to get in with his king, because these were the dark squares that I made weak, right? These dark squares. And he played the move f4, and I'm like, okay, he definitely, that's definitely a slip up, because I take on b5, a7 hangs, king f6, and we traded pawns. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, all I have to do is defend this. And again, the same plan doesn't work here. He can't go rook b7 and rook ab here, and then, and then here, and then king d3, because I check him again, and then I go back. Good luck. So I played king f6. We traded the pawns, and I think he kind of realized that he couldn't make progress. So we played rook d7, which is a good cutting move off. Rook ac6, king d3, king e6, rook d4, king f6, and all I need to do is shuffle back and forth. I cannot try to win this game anymore. This is out of the equation, because if I move any one of these rooks, c3 falls. So I played g3, king f7, king e2, king f6, and I think I stopped notating here. But I think it was like king f3, king f7, and he shuffled back to e3, and he played king e3 or king e2, and he offered me a draw. Because here's the thing, you can't make progress here. And if you can't win the c3 pawn, then black is just gonna move back and forth. What I thought he was gonna do is maybe play h3, trying to go for g4. But I was like, okay, I mean that's kind of a hard plan to get. So he offered me a draw after king e3, and well, I thought for like 15 seconds, and I took it because there's nothing else I can do in the position. So I draw this game. I'm very happy because this is a very dangerous player, honestly. And I'm very happy I hit him with the surprise, and he told me after the game he hasn't seen this line, or he only started this line like very recently, so he wasn't very familiarized with it, which is good. You know, I caught him by surprise. But again, the problem is when you're in a classical game, your opponent can't find the best moves. Like he has a lot of time, and he did budget his time after his like very long spend in the opening, very well. And you know we both made mistakes. But his best plan was actually just instead of bishop a5 was to just play a4. The engine really just liked playing a4 a5 or like taking and playing a4 a5. Something like this, and then with a4 and a5, it just loved this expansion plan with rook b1. And you know, sitting tight was what the computer wanted black to do, but I just can't do that. As a human, this d7 pawn is always going to be backwards, and you always want to defend it, right? So that concludes round 4. I do draw the FIDE Master, and I move on to 3 out of 4. So if you guys enjoyed round 4 recap, make sure to hit that subscribe button and comment below. If you guys are liking the recaps, you know, if you like the very short formats, I might consider doing that. Might be a new thing here on YouTube, but you know, I would love to see what kind of feedback you have. So that's it for round 4. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I will see you guys for round 5 and the end of the tournament. Until next time, Rampaging Rooks.